And I'll tell you, somebody who is probably thrilled to hear that one of the two people rescued has been released from shock trauma is Jesus Campos, and that explains why we haven't seen him around here. He kind of disappeared about an hour ago. I went to look for him to ask him some follow-up questions. He is the man that we've been speaking to today who works for Bronner Builders, the company that was contracted to have the work crew on the bridge today. He's been distraught. He said that it was a 7-member crew. The one member that was rescued, he said, was in critical condition at the hospital, the last he knew. And he said the families of the other 6 of his friends, co-workers, and he called them family members at this point, their families were just sitting at home, he said, waiting for the call. He is the one who gave us a lot of the details about this crew that was doing road work, pothole work, according to state officials. He said it's a job he's done before for the company. He believes their shift was 9 p.m. to 5 a.m., that they shut down parts of the roadway across the Key Bridge at 9 last night so that this work could take place, and that this crew of 7 was supposed to be, sorry, that's windy back here, was supposed to be on until 5 o'clock in the morning. He told us at the time of the collapse, they were on a 30-minute break, which is standard. It's how they operate. And that what they do on a break is they take their breaks in their cars. Pickup trucks, actually, he said there would have been 4 of them, and that his friends and co-workers would have been in their cars. Some eat something, drink a little bit of water or something. Some close their eyes. He said it's very hard, strenuous work. And he said Jesus and his other colleagues who were not working on this shift are just beside themselves. They know how dangerous and precarious it can feel to be that high up on that bridge that he said feels like it's moving up and down all the time. But then he said they just can't imagine what it was like to be on that bridge. So we did speak to him, and through an interpreter. He was very gracious. He was very emotional as well. But we want to share a little bit with you of what Jesus Campos told us today.
Me siento mal por lo que está sucediendo.
I am so bad. I feel so bad right now that this has happened. Mr. Campos told us 3 of the men were from Mexico and were related to each other. He said 2 were from Guatemala, the rest from Honduras and El Salvador. We asked him, what do you want people to know about your friends and about what happened?
No, pues eran buenas personas y somos buenas personas.
They were good people. They were good workers, he said. They were working so that they could send money home to their countries.
Sí, pues demasiado, pues porque tenemos familias que los esperan en casa.
It's too much to bear right now because all the families are waiting at home for the phone calls. And you can't help, or I couldn't help but make the connection between the crew members on this road crew who were working on the bridge and, according to the Apostleship of the Seas director, the 22 seafarers who were on board the container ship. All of them, according to the people who knew them and talked to them, were doing it for their families so that they could send money back home to have a better life. And Director Middleton of the Apostleship of the Sea said for the folks on the container ship, for those seamen, oftentimes that's the only way. They sign up for 8-9 month stints away from their families. That's the contract, and they do it because that's the way that they earn money for their families, so their families can have a better life. It's just very interesting that especially this bridge that's and this place that's about the port and working people is also the people that were directly involved and impacted by this are people who are just working. They're just working their jobs. So Mr. Campos said he's hoping and praying for the families and for his friends who remain unaccounted for. I will say, we have noticed a lot of equipment coming in and out. It could be a shift change, which happens. It's after 5 o'clock, but we have seen a couple of ambulances go in down to Hawkins Point in the last hour. Who knows if they just needed some people on standby, but that is something that we have seen we've seen some people come out, some people go in, and that's one of the kinds of vehicles that we saw go in there tonight. So that's what's happening here right now at Hawkins Point as far as the public is being allowed to go, and we'll send it back to you.